The Jedi Order, guardians of peace and justice for over 1,000 generations. The good guys. Or were they? Let's start with the most disturbing practice. The Jedi systematically took babies from their families and raised them in isolation. The Jedi literally had recruiters traveling the galaxy scanning babies. When they found a Force-sensitive baby, they'd convince, or pressure, parents to give them up. You take children before they can form attachments, before they can develop critical thinking, before they can choose. You isolate them, and you teach them that your way is the only way. That's not education, that's cult recruitment. Imagine if there was a real-world organization that took gifted children from their parents, saying, "Oh look, they're really special, we need to train them, you're never gonna see them again." We'd call that kidnapping. We'd call that a human rights violation. But because it's the Jedi, we're supposed to think that it's noble? And what do they do with these kidnapped children? They systematically suppress their emotional development in the name of peace. They taught children that love is dangerous. Any attachment leads to the dark side. Feeling anything is a path to evil. Anakin's mother is literally being tortured to death. He's told to train himself to let go of everything he fears to lose. He literally has nightmares about his wife dying in childbirth, and Yoda's advice is basically, stop caring so much. This kind of emotional suppression creates trauma. It creates people who can't process their feelings, who bottle everything up until it explodes. We see this happen repeatedly. Anakin becomes Darth Vader because he never learned healthy emotional regulation. He only learned suppression and shame. When he finally does feel something, he has no tools to handle it except the dark side. But emotional abuse wasn't the only problem, because when the war came, Jedi did something even worse with these traumatized children. They turned thousands of children into child soldiers. Ashoka Tano was 14 years old when she became a Padawan commander, leading clone troopers into battle. 14! She's making life and death tactical decisions, watching soldiers die under her command, killing enemy combatants herself. And she wasn't alone. We see younglings, i.e. children, throughout the Clone Wars, fighting on the front line. The Jedi kidnapped children, raised them in isolation, gave them weapons and sent them to war. The United Nations has protocols against child soldiers. The Jedi Order makes it standard practice. The Jedi weren't just emotionally abusive cult leaders who used child soldiers, they were also politically corrupt and catastrophically arrogant. The Jedi claimed to serve the Force, not politics, but they were literally headquartered on Coruscant, embedded in the Republic government. Jedi sat on councils, advised senators, enforced Republic law. They were the political establishment. When systems wanted to secede, who led the opposition? Jedi. They claim neutrality while being the Republic's enforcers. That's not being above politics. That's being the military arm of the state. And here's the kicker. Palpatine played them like a fiddle for years. A Sith Lord was the Supreme Chancellor, executing a plan that involved creating a clone army, manufacturing a war, and positioning himself to destroy the Jedi. And they noticed nothing. Yoda and Mace Windu knew the dark side was clouding their vision. They literally say this. But did they step back? Did they question their role? Did they think, maybe we shouldn't be leading armies if we can't even sense the dark side anymore? No. They just kept going, assuming they'd figure it out. That's not wisdom. That's hubris. And it got every Jedi except a handful killed. There's one more thing we need to talk about with the Jedi. Their view on the Force itself was dogmatic, narrow-minded, and fundamentally flawed. The Jedi believed their interpretation of the Force was the only correct one. Light side, good. Dark side, evil. No nuance, no balance, no acknowledgement that the Force might be more complex than their binary worldview. Even Obi-Wan, my favorite Jedi, says to Anakin, "Only a Sith deals in absolutes," which in itself is an absolute statement. The irony would be funny if it weren't so tragic. Thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.